Hi everybody, welcome to Line of the Week number 178, Motif Development Using Melodic Rhythms. It's time again to take a rhythm, add notes to it, and then improvise with it over tunes. This form of improvisation is called motif development. This week's line includes 4 specific motif development tools: melodic variation, rhythmic variation, fragmentation, and extension. Before I get to the line of the week and so we're all on the same page, here are the chords to the progression. The chords are D minor 7 to G7 to C major 7 for 2 measures, then C minor 7 to F7 to B flat major 7 for 2 measures. Here are the chord scales I'm using for this week's line. The chord scales are C major to A flat melodic minor to G pentatonic to B flat major to G flat melodic minor to F pentatonic. Here's some melodic rhythm I'm using this week. Here's the line of the week with Guitar Pro backing I'm using to make sure I'm getting the notes and the rhythm accurate. Let's look specifically at the line of the week. In measure 1, there is the original motif, meaning the melodic rhythm with notes that fit the harmony. Measure 2 contains a melodic variation of the original motif, meaning same rhythm, different notes to fit the harmony. Measure 3 contains a variation of the original motif with different notes to fit the harmony and a slightly different rhythm. Measure 4 contains mainly rest. Rest is very important in your improvisation because it defines when and where your phrases begin and end. Measure 5 contains an extension of eighth notes leading into the beginning of measure 6, which contains a fragment found at the beginning of the original motif. After the beginning motif fragment, measure 6 contains mostly rest. The end of measure 6 contains a motif fragment and then continues into a rhythmic variation in measure 7 to end the line. By the way, sometimes you might find yourself stuck in one place on the fretboard. One thing I'll do to fix that is the following. After ending a phrase on one part of the neck, I'll simply shift my hands up or down and start, or across, and start the next phrase in a different part of the neck. This has helped me learn the fretboard better, and it also adds more musical interest for the listener to your lines. Let me say a few words about resolving tension at the point of chord change. At the point of chord change, ask yourself if the note you're playing is chord sound, meaning agreeable to both the chord of the moment and the next chord. If not, then the note should be resolved by half step. For example, at the end of measure 1, moving to the beginning of measure 2, the note C under the D minor 7 chord is agreeable to D minor 7, but it is not agreeable to the next chord, G7. In other words, the note C is not agreeable to the G7 chord and should be resolved by half step either immediately or within a beat and a half. Another example, at the end of measure 2, moving to the beginning of measure 3, note F under G7 is agreeable to G7, but is disagreeable to the next chord, C major 7. In other words, the note F is not agreeable to the C major 7 chord and should be resolved by half step either immediately or within a beat and a half or so. These rules of resolving tension developed in Western music hundreds of years ago and apply to all styles of music to make things sound more interesting and musical. In conclusion, let me quickly shift gears. An explanation of my fingerstyle technique is available on my store page at stewartjazz.com. All my major, pentatonic, melodic, minor, and diminished shapes are included in my instructional video and accompanying PDF files. The PDF files contain regular notation, tab, left-hand fingering, right-hand fingering, hammer-ons, and pull-offs. The video and the PDF files are only $10. Your purchase helps support the channel. So that's all for this week. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week.